When I went into the fight, I felt like a warrior. At the beginning of the fight, the referee brings, the blue and the red, Hong and Chong, in, and then he starts a fight. In that moment, I went like, wah! And she moved back like this, and that was when I first knew I had her. I felt 10 feet tall, I felt so strong and so powerful. Wow, there was quite a few moments there when I just had chills throughout my body.
What did you go into the games thinking? You were a World Championship medalist already.
I went in knowing I was going to win the gold medal, and I felt like in order to win that medal, I needed to give everything I had. I just knew she was a really tough opponent. She was really tenacious. Her kicks were really hard. I just had to make sure that I really stayed present in the moment, stayed focused and controlled the match. I felt like the crowd really did help me, and I was really fortunate to be at a home game. I mean, having 10,000 people in the State Sports Centre cheering your name, it just is this swell of energy. I actually went to the Grant Hackett 1500 metre swim, and because I knew that would be such a huge crowd, I knew there'd be this Aussie crowd cheering for him. And I sat there and I just closed my eyes and I just felt the crowd, and I started to picture, it was that visualisation, that mental rehearsal, mental imagery, like preparing for every element of, what could happen. So I started to realise that the crowd was going to have an effect, and it was really in my control to work out how I responded to that. Looking at that video, there's so many people in the crowd that I recognise. So that's what the home games was really about too. We had all these athletes visiting everyone else's events and cheering and, cheering on the Aussies.
You're on the podium, what does that feel like?
When I got on the dais, I actually felt very small. It was very earthy, and it kind of made me reflect a little bit more historically. I reflected on all the other Olympians I'd seen up there on the dais and what that means. One of the things that I love about having that medal is sharing it. And now it's tarnished and worn and weathered, and I love that it's been through so many hands and it's had this whole history, a life of its own really, yeah. My fight wasn't scheduled to be televised, so I'd rung my friends and family and, I'm like, I'll let you know how I go. So I never expected that it would be, broadcast around the country and around the world.
So your father, you had a life as a rock star. I wonder whether you've ever spoken about that sort of shared experience to have thousands of people chanting your name.
Where my dad really kind of influenced me was after the games. I was kind of coming off the wave of this incredible sort of media attention. I arrive in Tassie and we go to this little local supermarket and we're just getting some supplies to go back to their house, and this kid comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, you're the Taekwondo girl, hi, can I, And I was like, "Hi, whatever," to just sign something. Turned away, and my dad said, "You have to go back. You can't just leave him like that. You're his idol." And so I went back and I said, "Hey, do you want to get a photo or whatever?" And I connected with him again. And Ronnie had always been like that with all of his fans, and it was something that he just made me realise that when you are chatting to someone, to really have that connection. Everywhere I went, people recognised me, and I just, I hadn't expected that. It did completely change my life.